What's going on, y'all? My name is Palmer Wiggins, and welcome back to our third iteration of Leadership Bites, in which we interview one of our student leaders here at USC Aiken, learn a little bit more about who they are, what leadership is to them, and the different things they've done while they're here on campus. So with that being said, let's go meet our third student leader. Okay, so can you tell us your name, year, and major?
Hey, I'm Judson Pickett. I'm a senior in exercise and sports science, basic sciences, concentration.
Perfect. And so my first big question is looking at your leadership journey. So maybe like how it started, the big things along the way, where it is now, that kind of thing.
I'd say it all started right after orientation. Ty Barkell asked me to go to the leadership retreat, and then every other person was talking about SGA. And I was like, yeah, sure, and then I was going to consider it. I wanted to be involved on campus. Like when I got here, I was a transfer. I wanted to be involved. And then like a couple people just shouted out SGA. Yeah, you should apply. It's a good opportunity. I was like, okay. And then another person, yeah, you should apply. It's a good opportunity. So I did. And I ended up being an INSAC position, New Student Advisory Council, that's given to freshmen and transfers. And then from INSAC, we had our SGA president. He resigned after that fall semester of 2022, and so our vice president became president, and so they needed a vice president, and then I became vice president somehow, some way. It was cool. It was very, very good opportunity, spring 2023, and then from then on I became president of SGA and chancellor ambassador as well. I'm a member of NAACP and Black Student Union, and I like to think I'm a member of Curls. I go every now and then to their events. And I think from then on, as soon as I got, I kind of went knee deep into being involved on campus. And I try to support whoever I can, whenever I can make time.
Yeah, so you're in a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so my next question is, what does being a leader mean to you, or what does leadership mean to you?
I think leadership isn't always the person who's going to tell people what to do, but I think it's like the catalyst to bring the best out of everybody in any given situation. I think pushing your friends, pushing your peers, I think that's what a leader does, as well as be the voice that someone maybe doesn't want to hear, but that they need to hear. I would say very empathetic. That's my leadership style. Try to be friendly. Open-minded, taking everybody's opinions into account, and I just want to make sure everybody's heard. Everyone feels heard. When people don't feel heard, I think they feel a little bit detached from, I don't know if that's an organization, a team, any kind of team that you're on. So I try to make sure everybody feels heard and accounted for. And so I think what I said at first was probably my number one, just bring the best out of your teammates.
Yeah, that's a great way to view it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so one of my favorite things to ask is always about balance. So how do you balance what you do in your leadership positions with your classes and also what you do outside of campus?
I think remaining humble, being grateful for any opportunity that I have. I think that's what's keeping me grounded. Staying close to my family and friends, having those that keep me grounded and reminding me why I'm here, because it's really easy to get sidetracked. It's kind of like, it's kind of hard to balance. It's very hard to balance. If you are a student, you have a job on campus, and you have a job off campus, and that's a whole lot of running around to do. And so my boss, Ty Barkell, he got me using the calendar app on the iPhone, and it's synced up with my Outlook calendar for Microsoft. And so every time I get a calendar invite, I accept it. It goes straight to my iPhone calendar. And that's really been helping me out this year and basically this past year, ever since last spring. And so it's helping me, all right, what are my priorities again? And trying to look at what I have today, because time management is my biggest downfall. I wouldn't say downfall, but this is my biggest struggle. And so just trying to see what I have going on throughout my day, being able to mentally picture, write down things, type in things in my phone that are my priorities and what I have going on. And so even out of school priorities go in my phone, and it's we use these a lot. So, I mean, you might as well use them for the productive things that'll help you succeed in life. And yeah, my mom and dad definitely let me know, like, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And so being close with them is very helpful to me. And being around productive people who want to do well for themselves, being around them makes you want to do better for yourself. Right. And so just being in those spaces are like, it propels me to do better.
Yeah,
so
having the right people in your corner is the best way.
Yeah. All right, so also another thing is communication. I realized that I haven't been the best communicator, and it's just because I didn't really know how. And I also realized that involves planning and being organized. And those aren't things, those are things that I took for granted. Those are skills that you actually do need to build up: organization skills, communication skills, and planning skills. And so if I plan ahead, I'm able to communicate if I can or can't make it to said event. And so that's huge. That is huge, especially in the student life office, being a worker on campus. If you communicate ahead of time, they will be fine. They will be understanding if you can or can't make it. Yep. And if you communicate to your professor, you have something going on a certain day, they may or may not be able to bend to it. If they can't, they'll let you know. They'll email you back. But just the communication and planning ahead in general has been able to help me out a little bit better than before I was involved, or before I sharpened my skills in these areas, I guess I could say. So that's definitely helping me balance things, my priorities. So yeah.
It is being upfront.
That's right.
The best part.
Keep it real.
Okay, so next question for you is, who are your role models and why?
Okay, so I used to have a lot of role models growing up. I'd say now that social media is so much bigger than what it was, it's kind of like my feed is oversaturated. I kind of pay less attention to the individual, what's going on social media wise. And so I'd say I wouldn't have as many role models that are online anymore, or like that I don't know. And so honestly, I'm not trying to be that guy, but Ahmed Samaha and Ty Barkell are really good role models, and Jamel Hodges as well. I'd say I mentioned them. I'm not gonna lie. I've been mentioning them in a lot of my grad school applications, just as people I look up to as professionals, and how they carry themselves, and how they lead and get along with others. Like, Ahmed's very compassionate, but he also is going to give it to you straight, and Ty's going to give it to you straight. But he's an understanding guy as well. And the way they lead is, and Jamel, the safe spaces he creates for those that are around him, and just his friendliness. And they all have their own ways of leading, but they're all professionals, and they know how to turn it on and off. But they keep it on most of the time, but they can be friendly. And it's kind of like, oh, I didn't know adults could be that, like, cool. I don't know. I don't know if it's cool. Like, you're a person. Okay. It's not always business.
Right.
And even when it is business, it can be fun.
Yeah.
And so I do look up to those three.
Okay, so my next question is, having transferred out of a position of leadership, a major position of leadership, how did that process really go? How did you feel? Those kinds of things.
Okay, so last year, yeah. The 23-24 year, I was SGA president, and that involved a lot of things: being places in person, speaking in public, carrying the staff at graduation, just being physically in spaces to be seen as president. And so, yeah, it was a lot. And then it's like a lot to let go of when you're not president anymore. But I wouldn't say I was too sad. I was kind of relieved because whoever was elected, that whichever one was in the running last year, I knew we were going to be in good hands. And so it did end up being Mr. Aparichi Motogu. And so I was relieved that SGA was going to be in good hands, and I trusted him with it. And don't get me wrong, a little bit worried, but no, I trusted him with it. It's only because it's like not me doing it. Mm-hmm. It's not you, like you're not at the helm.
Right.
But I definitely trusted him to do it, the job. And I kind of tried to make sure a lot of when election season was around last spring of 2024, when election season came, I tried to make sure everyone felt that they could do the job whichever way, whichever position they were applying to, whether it was exec or a member. try to make sure as many people like saw the application as they could. And I wanted people to know you could do it too. Like, I'm not running next year. I'm not planning on running next year. It's your turn. Let's see it. You know. And I wanted to get people involved. SGA isn't some monotonous, boring job. It's fun, and to be involved, to see the inner workings of the university, and to know that you have an impact. Mm-hmm. And the transition, the way that went, election season last spring, the winners of the election were announced, and the SGA executive board was inaugurated at the leadership spring banquet. Yeah, and from then on, they took the positions, and we transitioned our website and presence app. We transitioned all the member names. So yeah, it was a smooth transition. I trusted everybody who was elected. It's a lot of new faces this year. Just love to see it. It's just exciting. Yeah, it's a little bit sad, but it's not. It's more relieving. It's more like, okay. These people really wanted to be here. I love to see it, honestly. Just students engaged. So.
Yeah, whenever you're transferring out, you know it's in a good hands.
It's in good hands.
Makes it easy.
It's easy. Yeah, they're just making it easy on me. So I appreciate the current SGA. So yeah.
So my last question for you is, being someone who has done a lot on this campus, both in leadership and also just in being involved, what are some of the biggest life lessons you've taken from your time here?
I'd say college is what you make it. And if you're going to be inside in your room all day, you know, that's college. You can be outside, out doing things, that's college. So either way, college is what you make it.
Yep.
I'd say getting involved or just being a part of what's happening on campus has helped me be more successful in class, if that makes sense. I feel more engaged, in tune with what's going on, and more on top of things. And honestly, yeah, I think being involved with what's going on campus is just going to make your experience better in general. And I'd say no matter who it is, like if you're in the wrong for something or if you messed up, just be truthful, don't lie. People are going to take it so much better if you just give it to them straight. Professors, bosses, all the above, just give it to them straight. Yeah, I overslept.
Right.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not going to make a big excuse here, like I overslept or something like that. Just give it to them real. Yeah, honestly, I think that's the best result. You'll get a little bit more respect if you just give them the truth. Life lessons. Just be accountable. That kind of goes along with telling the truth. Just being accountable is. I take that so. I think that carries a lot of weight in the workforce. Just accountability. I got a lot of just random tidbits of things that I picked up just in these 3 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still working on time management here, but that's a killer for me. That's something I'm working on. But it's very important. I've realized that.
Yeah.
Organization, planning, time management, communication, those are all skills that I really took for granted, that I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to get things done however, and whether I'm organized or not. But organization, time management, planning, and communication are all skills that you should have in the workforce. Work on them in college, sharpen your blade as much as you can. Yeah. Another lesson, the biggest lesson, there's no biggest lesson. I'm sorry, I'm just spitting out things. But
you're good.
Another lesson, you are who you surround yourself with. And, oh man, so your friends are going to influence you either for the better or the worse, or for like the mid. You could have the friends that like aren't going to influence you for the better or worse, but you won't grow as a person. And so I just want people that push me to be around me. One more.
Sure.
Be yourself. I don't know. Maybe you don't know who you are yet, but be you. Like, find yourself, then remain yourself unapologetically. I think the worst thing you could do is act like somebody you're not. Who are you trying to impress? Like, what kind of friends are you making because of that? Are they friends with you for you or not? And so I came to Aiken, just me. I'm not gonna lie. And I think I was running into a lot of people who were still trying to find themselves, and that's okay. But find who you are and just be you. The best thing you can be is you. Like, you're your best cheerleader. Who else is gonna vouch for you?
All right, so that's all the questions I have left for you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Palmer.
This has been our third iteration of Leadership Bites. Hopefully learn a little bit more about what it means to be involved in so many different things, and also how it is to move on from them after you've done your time. So, once again, I'd like to say thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.